A few of our brothers, I mean, I remember being out here 10 years ago, here and up the block. And of course, at that time, the oppression of the people of Darfur was at its height in terms of media coverage. One of the unfortunate things about media is that media comes and goes in cycles, because the people of Darfur, the people of the Nuba Mountains region and that entire area need the same kind of focus now that they did 10 years ago. 10 years ago, just before the outbreak of the rebellion in Darfur, I was in the Sudan. I was part of a group of African-American leaders that went to Sudan in order to investigate the situation there. These are leaders from the Muslim Alliance in North America. And when we arrived in Khartoum, the Sudanese government had just signed the peace treaty with the Nuba Mountains region. And I was telling people when we came back that, for instance, here, when the atrocities in Darfur became well known and people learned about the Janjaweed and so forth, I told them the Janjaweed were in the Nuba Mountains before they went into Darfur. And all of the things that we see going on now, the killing of innocent civilians, the bombings, the aerial bombardments, the Sudanese government has been doing these things for over a decade and a half now. And I'll never forget that we sat with some of the men who were leaders from the Nuba Mountain region, and they were explaining to us about the conflict. They were explaining to us about their legitimate complaints. And as I sat listening to them, I remember thinking to myself, these complaints that the brothers have, this sounds just like African Americans back in the U.S. With our legitimate complaints about a denial of justice versus the United States government. I remember thinking that. And so over the years, unfortunately, back then, the voices for justice for the oppressed minorities in the Sudan were very loud internationally. Now they're kind of quiet. And that should not be, because the same atrocities that were happening 10 years ago are happening now. Same people who needed help then need help now. 10 years ago, the world had not figured out that President Bashir was a war criminal. Now at least the world has figured that much out, but still the atrocities go on. So I rushed down here. I wanted to just to be with you, because our prayers matter. Prayer is important. Dua is important. And we want to continue to pray and act on behalf of the men, the women, the children in Darfur, in the southern Sudan, in the southern Kordofan, and the Nuba Mountains region, and all over the world, where people who are just trying to exercise the international right, the human right of self-determination, are being oppressed for doing so. People in Sudan need self-determination just like every other human being on earth. So I wanted to express our solidarity. The numbers here today are not big numbers, but know that the hearts of those of us here in the Muslim community in New York City. I am the president of the Islamic Leadership Council, Majlis al-Shura of Metropolitan New York, as well as the Imam of the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood. And I wanted you to know that our hearts are one with your hearts. And the Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, he said that when the believers are a body, he said, then just as with the human body, when you injure one part of the body, the entire body feels it. And that should be our relationship. So the pain that is being felt in Sudan, we feel that pain here in America. The outrage that people have in Sudan, we have that outrage here in America. And the hope and determination that the people have in Sudan, we have that hope and determination here. We were with you in solidarity 10 years ago. We're with you in solidarity now. So we just ask that you keep us informed, keep us in the loop, let us know what's happening. 10 years ago, we were doing a lot of things. We were arranging for radio interviews. We were doing a lot of writing. We still need to do those type of things. And whatever we can do to help you, please let me know. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless this gathering. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the people of Darfur and the people of Kordofan and the people of Southern Sudan and the people of the Nuba Mountains region. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless all of the oppressed peoples throughout the continent of Africa and throughout the entire world. And all of these things we ask, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.